Hello. Today we have something that I was just not expecting. These are the Morphe Rich and Foiled Artistry Palette Collection. They came out with 3 for this. It's not really a collection, but it's basically the same palette but in different colors, because we have a gold, we have a silver, and we have a rose gold. You could call this white gold if you want, whatever. We have this gold one, which is called Gold Seeker. Then we have Going Platinum and Rose to Fame. Okay, so on the website, if you go to the Morphe website, they're $15. I bought them on sale, I believe, during the, I think there was some sort of Ulta sale going on. It might have been during Black Friday, because I got these for $9. Got these for $9 each, and for $9, totally worth it. I love these for a $9 price tag. I don't want to say these blew me out of the water, but my expectations were, I'm going to be honest, really low. I thought they were going to be okay, and I was going to pass them on. Because I feel like that's been my experience with Morphe formula lately. Like, it's alright, but it's not enough to really keep me wanting to keep the palette. But in this case, I feel very differently. This was, to me, quite a big success in comparison to some stuff I may have tried quite recently. So I want to rate these, or basically kind of like put them in order of my least favorite to my most favorite. And if we're going to start with that, we're going to surprisingly start first with Gold Seeker then. Gold Seeker was my least favorite, and by the name, I think you can tell that this is the gold version of this palette, of the Rich and Foiled. As you can see here on the back, it shows you what the inside of the palette looks like, and I'm sure they kind of do this now because I feel like they know that now that they don't have their Morphe stores, they're probably going to end up at like a TJ Maxx, and instead of opening the palette, they're hoping you'll just look at this and decide based off that whether or not you want the product. Alright, so we've pulled the palette out, and it's basically the same kind of like gold foiled molten lava kind of chrome deal that we see here. It's pretty much the same that you see here on the palette, except for this like reflecting M that you see. Nothing on the back. There is no mirror in here, which I personally like. Just as Morphe. There is kind of, not some instructions, but just some basic information for how to use this shade. So if you look, it's kind of see-through, and it'll tell you right here, Molten Metal Eyeshadow. And it has some instructions of how to apply it dry and how to apply it wet. If you apply it dry, it says for creamy effects. Apply wet for enhanced liquid effects. Now, for all 3 of these, if you do apply it wet, it does give you a wet, enhanced liquid effect. I feel like that is true. That is not a lie. In terms of applying it dry, it says apply it dry for overall creamy effects. It does not look creamy. It does not feel creamy. It is more of a subtle shimmer, sparkle, metallic, and it's very pretty, but it is not creamy. So let's get that out of the way first. Here we have Gold Seeker. And not bad. I think the overall other formulas in here were good, but continuing on what we see on this little paper, so I just said if you wanted to apply this dry, it's pretty. So maybe let's do an experiment with, well, maybe we'll save it for the last one. I don't know. I don't want to swatch all of these so much, but let's just keep talking, and then we'll do my favorite at the end. It says for the wet, to spray your brush tip with continuous setting mist or water before picking up Molten Metal Eyeshadow. Glide along lash lines or creases for molten-like shine. So I did try this molten shade different ways. One of the ways I did try, and I have tried this before, I've used the continuous setting spray before. The continuous setting spray burns on your eyes, so I do not recommend using the continuous setting spray like it says on the instructions to apply this middle shade. To be honest, I have not tried water, which you would think would be the easiest, but I haven't tried water because what I ended up doing is using the setting spray from Glamlight. Having setting spray from the Prince of Bel-Air collection. That doesn't really smell like anything, but it doesn't smell good. But I thought maybe I would try that, and that also kind of had a burning sensation, so I think don't use any setting sprays at all. So I ended up instead using a water-based primer, and it's more of like a clear water-based gel looking primer instead of like a creamy white one or something. And I used that, dipped my brush into that, and then used this, and then my eyes were okay, and my eyes weren't irritated or anything, so after that it's fine. I don't know why, just full transparency, I don't know how this product works with water. That's something I'll have to figure out later on. So, I mean, full transparency, I did not apply any of these Molten eyeshadows with water just because I wanted to see how long lasting I could make it. I found these overall, the Molten shades as eyeshadow, I think they worked pretty well. It took a while for it to crease. It did eventually crease, but it wasn't immediate creasing, so I don't have a problem with it. As an eyeliner, I don't know about as an eyeliner. I think it was partly my artistry is just not that advanced, but also it burned just a little bit. Don't know if I really want it near my lash line too much, but I think I might have been using the setting spray at that point, so that might have been why. I don't think I had switched over to the primer gel yet, so that might be why. But, you know, I'm just going to mention it. Just, you know, beware if you're going to end up using the shade as an eyeliner. You know, see how it works for you, see how it feels. I just wanted to mention it. But in terms of these other shades, we have a really pretty pearl, a champagne, and this one's called Pretty Penny. And it is more of a penny shade. Kind of wish, I don't know if these shades really, like, complement this gold. Happy to say that these are so soft, so buttery and creamy. Sorry, I got a phone call, but let's try again. This is so nicely pigmented. Light shades like this don't usually show up on my skin, but even more so often are they so just ashy, powdery, not an actual eyeshadow. This is an actual eyeshadow. You can still see this against my skin. So that was really nice. I really loved my favorite shade in this, in terms of these other shimmers, is this really pretty pearly one. That one's really pretty. Just a very simple kind of metallic shade. That's really pretty. And something like this reads to me very cool. Like this is, I don't know, a lot more of these, especially these top ones, kind of feel more like shades you probably see in like the Rose to Fame palette, the pink palette. These kind of go with the gold. But even then, I'm not too sure. I think this color story could have done a little bit better. But in terms of formula, I think they are good. I'm going to swatch Gold Seeker dry, just so you can see a swatch of this dry. Girl, look at that. Can you see how pretty that is? I'm going to try and focus. So nice. Oh, look at that. Really pretty, really shiny. I don't think it's creamy. I don't think it looks creamy. I think it's just a really pretty sparkle on the eye. Definitely very nice. I think all these palettes are good. I think this color story could have done a little better, but in terms of like the palette, I think it's the formula in here. I think it's good. I think there was pretty much almost no issue with any of the formula in these. At this point, it's more like preference, and I would have preferred something that would complement the gold in this palette more. Into place of my ranking, my little ranking and rating, we have the Going Platinum, which really surprised me. So Going Platinum, Gold Seeker's supposed to be kind of like, you know, the warm version. This is the cool version, and I think gold looks much better on me, but I really preferred this really this really cute 9-pan small palette with cooler colors, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of a gag. So here's the actual palette. This is what it looks like. They're all gonna look like this. They all look like the outside. You can see here, that's what the color story is supposed to be. On the back, there's nothing. And here as well, there's no mirror. And you're gonna get these same instructions in every one of the palettes. So we put that up here, and here is this color story. This, y'all, I don't know. Am I giving them the pass? I don't know. The way these matte shades perform, specifically these two, we got Crowd Control and is it Jetworth? We got Jetworth. They're not, when I applied them in a way that just, I don't know, it was like, it had depth, but it still wasn't like super like ink to work with. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm gonna swatch them and maybe talk about them, but I wanted to swatch this one first because again, we're working with the same thing, mama, where this is a shade I can see on my skin. And that makes me so happy because I rarely ever get to see light colors on my skin. Specifically, these pale pinks on my skin tone rarely ever work. They rarely ever work. In terms of which one of my shimmers that I love, oh girl, moneymaker. I don't know what formula this is. I've seen the formula for this shimmer in quite a few other palettes. Specifically, I think it was the multi-effects palettes. You'll find this formula in there, and oh girl, work. I love it. I love this extremely wet, shiny, just like water. Like it, I find it so pretty. And I wonder if the light will reflect. It's like little stars. It is so pretty. And the thing that really kind of gags me about these palettes is that I'm a girl who loves intensity and just like kapow, in your face kind of colors. And the things I'm trying to put into words what I really like. And you can see it on my skin tone, but it still feels very neutral, very classy, very just, you know, not super in your face, very everyday. And that's not something that I usually like, but because of the intensity and the fact that this actually works, I really like that. It gives me really pretty, subtle looks that I'm used to not really doing very often. They're like not sheer, but just like softer and more subtle than I'm used to wearing, but it's really pretty. Like, 1, 2, 3. I've mentioned this in other videos before, and maybe it's a little morbid or a little too dark, but sometimes you need to wear makeup in places where very serious things are happening. And not that these serious things are happening to me, but you know, if you had to go do like a court date or a funeral or something like that, like you want to be presentable but you're not going to show up like full glam green eyeshadow, do you know what I mean? Like you need something a little bit more subtle, and all of these palettes I think work so well for that. But then just for like the everyday, this just works for me for the everyday. I want to swatch the black because it's going to be so hard to take off, but I wonder if I swatch this, if it'll show you what I mean, because you can see here how pigmented it is, but at the same time it's so blendable. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that on my knuckles. Let's see. It feels so creamy. It feels like a cream. That's a really bad swatch. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done this over my knuckles because now it looks like boop, boop, boop. Maybe I will end up swatching the black just because I don't feel like it's not a very good swatch. But they're so soft. They're so creamy. Oh my god, that looks like charcoal. I liked that I could pick up like this black and just blend it out. Like, let me grab a little bit more, go the other way. Look how intense that black is. Ooh. It's gonna be hard to get out. Look at that. Maybe I can put it here. But I just liked the way I could work with these. I tried not to get a lot of black because I didn't want that intense of a look, but if you wanted that intense of a look, you could do it. Like, this is the eyeshadow that's left on my finger. And I could still, like, work it out. Do you know what I mean? Like, and, like, to keep it real, these two, the slightest touch of patchy, but workable. Okay, so I don't mind that, that's fine. But of course, I'm gonna keep it real with all of y'all, so I just wanted to mention it. Let's swatch Going Platinum. This was really pretty. This feels kind of almost like a toned down, cremated palette. And if you're a person who wants to do more of like these smoky looks, and you feel like you don't need that huge palette, this is probably for you. I really think, ooh, I'm not gonna be honest, I did kind of mix up my shades right here with the black in that one. Let me get a clean finger. Let me go wash my hands. Let's get a clean finger. I've washed my hands. I'm gonna go back in to Going Platinum because I want to give it a fair, fair little trial here, fair little swatch. It is so pretty. Y'all can't imagine how pretty this is. Also as a liquid liner. So you can definitely tell the difference here. This was the clean finger. This was with my dirty finger because I had just swatched the black. I thought I had gotten most of it off, but I obviously didn't. But look how pretty this is. I love that. Oh girl, that black looks so intense. So pretty. So yeah, this is my second favorite. I really think that the Cool Skin girls are gonna love this one. This one's my second place. This is my number one. This is Rose to Fame. I never ever thought this was going to happen. Like ever. Light pink, pale, light, like this princess shade. never works on my skin tone. I always feel like it looks so bad and it just does not work with my skin tone. I'm constantly kind of buying small pink palettes and then finding out it doesn't work with my skin tone and then giving out to friends and family. I don't think I have yet to keep any of these small pink palettes that I buy because I always get entranced by how cute and pretty and girly these pink shades are, and then they end up not working for me. But in this case, it did, and I'm just so shook. I was not expecting this to work. But this is the Rose to Fame palette. It is the pink version of this palette, and I think this has the best color story of the three. I love that I was able to, every single one of these shades, even this like ballerina light pink one, worked for my skin tone. I was so shook. I was not expecting that at all. I'm going to swatch this, so if, as you've seen, the two lightest on the other ones, you can see it on my skin. You will see it on my skin, especially around my eyes, because I do have discoloration on my face, and around my eyes is darker than the rest of my face, so you could definitely tell. So I'm not going to swatch this, but I wanted to swatch this one because I thought this pink was so pretty. And again, the consistency of these shades are so nice. Look how pretty that is. Can you see it? I'm going to swatch all the way over here. I think it's so, so pretty. And I love how just pinky and natural it looks. I think it's so pretty. This is like the kind of shade I would end up using for like a blush. I really, really like it. In terms of the shimmers, I think, was it Charmed Life? I'm trying to remember if it was Charmed Life or, I think it might have been Nepo Beige. I think this one was my favorite shimmer. I'm trying to remember. I'm going to swatch this one, and I'm going to swatch this one. I think it was in between these two. I usually always have a favorite. Ooh. Yeah, I think it was Nepo Beige. It's a very light, girly palette. I think it's so pretty. Do a little bit more of, it's just a nice sparkly light pink, just very pretty. Ooh, I'm going down my arm and it's starting to get a little harder to see, but I promise on my eyes you can definitely see it. That's why this is my number one. It's a light kind of wet look. Yeah, I think this one was definitely my favorite. Even on my arm you can see it a little bit more. This one kind of gives my skin like a nice wet shimmery look. There's a bit of color but not too much on my arm. But yeah, those are my favorite. And now I'm going to try and show y'all what this looks like on the liquid form. And again, this, I think of the three, I really, really loved this Molten shade the best in the pink palette. And I have today, I just grabbed one of my small like liner brushes, like you would do like graphic liner with this or something, and then I'm going to be using, this is the Simpsons Makeup Revolution Treehouse of Horror Primer Base. This is what I'm talking about when I say picking a water-based primer, because it's going to be, I'm going to do it right here. So it's green. So this version is green, but hopefully you can tell that this is, it's clear, it's a clear gel. It might be green, but you can tell it's a water-based gel. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to dip my brush and just saturate it. Saturate my brush. I honestly did probably too big of a splotch there. Wipe some excess off. I don't want too much. Go back in, wipe some excess off. I'm just going to start putting it in and dipping it in like it's kind of like a paint. It's enough, but let's see. I'm going to do it in between these gaps here. Ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. So it's just a little line, just because that's the brush that I have, but let me grab some more. Maybe we can make this line thicker. Maybe we can paint what's right here in between. So don't judge the brush and the fact that, you know, it's not a lot, but you can definitely see it. Let me grab a little bit more liquid right here. I'm going to paint more right here. Right in between those shades. And on the eye, this wet just looks so, so stunning. I feel like the effect isn't as crazy on my hand, because here's the other Molten shade. This is just the gold dry, and it almost looks like it has the same effect on my hand, but I feel like on my eye there was a really big difference. I'm gonna try and put it over here next to the gold. Maybe we'll see a difference in the gold there. Alright, so you can see here, I've also applied it right next to the silver, right over here. So we have one rose gold over here, and another rose gold over here. I think the effects of these new, what are we calling them, the Molten Metal Eyeshadows, I would love an entire 9-pan palette of just that. I think they're so, so pretty. Like, look at this arm of just a couple of the shades that we've done here today. I mean, if you got rid of the black in the middle here, it is a pretty neutral, everyday, very safe, like, palettes. So I absolutely recommend these. I really, really adore what I did with these. I just felt so pretty and dainty every time I put these on. I thought these were so pretty. Let me know down below if you guys have any questions about these. I'd love to answer any questions y'all have, but these are all a go for me. I'm keeping all of these palettes. I really loved the way they made me feel. I love that the way the formula works. I love the simplicity. When I was looking up, I did look up a couple reviews of these palettes before doing my own review, and these were released about a year ago. So I was watching reviews from people that did try these palettes a year ago, and something that they were mentioning was, is this the Morphe comeback? We've been getting a lot of Morphe viral moments, and I'm hoping that this means that they're focusing a lot more now on their formula again versus their packaging and the collabs, because I'm really happy with this formula. I'm really happy I bought all three. Usually I would probably just have kept one. I would have kept the one that I like. But I like all three of these. These are all really amazing, easy travel palettes. I think this is a great beginner palette. I think these are great palettes for people with youthful skin or mature skin. I feel like these are palettes for absolutely everybody, and you can have your cool tone, your neutral, and your warm moment. These all work. I absolutely recommend them, and I hope y'all liked this video and you have a great day.